So I decided the next collection video I should do is my Sony 4Ks because I recently got in a copy of Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs, and that's a Sony Blu-ray. And I went to go put it away with my Sony Blu-rays, and I just realized like 90% of my Sony collection of titles is just 4Ks, and it's kind of wild because there's a decent amount of steelbooks and a few slip covers in there. But once you get in just to the non-slip, just regular 4K Blu-rays, it's kind of fucking crazy. And the worst part is Sony doesn't do this anymore. Sony doesn't do the slip cover non steelbook standard editions anymore. I mean they do, but most of the time they don't. And it's just wild that I have this many when they don't do them anymore. Now, I think there's quite a few of these that are actually modern movies, but a lot of these aren't. So we'll get into it. But let's start with the steelbooks. I'm kind of gonna go down a weird rabbit hole with these steelbooks because some of these technically aren't Sony, but these all have like different license holders. But I keep them together just because it's all part of the same series. So I have all my Hellboy movies. This is the only one that's put out by Sony, this 4K Steelbook. I think this was a Best Buy exclusive back in the day. I'm not really sure anymore, but yeah, first Hellboy is pretty good. But then you get into the weird thing of like, oh, the second one's put out by Universal. So you have that. So you don't, and then I have the animated ones, which are kind of sequels to the movies, kind of not. It's like all the same people who did the live action doing the voices. It's like, I think Rob Perlman is Hellboy in this. But you have the two animated movies. Then you got the David Harbour one, which is Lionsgate, just like the animated ones I just showed you. And then you got this weird one they just put out. What is this? The Crooked Man. I completely forgot the name of this. This is like I think Ketchup Entertainment was the one who put this out. So it's weird. I don't know why it's the Hellboy movies are so weird in the way that they're kind of put together like that, but it really is weird. But it's nice that I have them all in one space. Sometimes you just do that with a collection, even though it doesn't always make sense to organize them that way. Next two, we got Mask of Zorro. I think I bought these in reverse because yes, there's a standard edition of the first one, but I think this steelbook at one point I was on Amazon. It was like $18, so I picked it up, and then you got the slipcover version, which I think was around the same price. So I just kind of picked them both up. First Mask of Zorro, great movie. This is actually not the best looking steelbook. To be honest, you could have done with this movie. But it's a good movie, and it was a cheap steelbook, so I picked it up because I was gonna buy the movie anyways. That's one of those movies when they put it out in 4K. I was like, man, I need to get that, and it sat in my wish list for years, and then finally a sale happened. This one's not as good, but it's still a fun movie. Both Zorro movies are fun. Groundhog Day. This is another one that sat in my wish list forever, and I just never grabbed. This is one of those I always said, well, I'm going to grab it near Groundhog Day and I'm going to watch it. And then I never did. And then this year, I watched it after Groundhog Day. Because I just said, fuck it, it's been too long. And I forgot how good this movie is. A great movie. Classic Bill Murray. But yeah, I have the steelbook now. And hopefully next year, I can actually watch it on Groundhog Day. Because kind of crazy that I haven't done that yet. This is the weird thing about Sony. They do the weirdest movies in steelbook, like Groundhog Day, Matilda. These aren't movies that you should get a steelbook. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's cool that they have them, but like, this is a nice looking steelbook for a movie that should just have a slipcover Blu-ray, but yet for some reason doesn't. This is a great movie. This movie is just a reminder to me. Hey, Danny DeVito, great actor, great comedian, right? But damn, this guy can direct a really good movie, and he needs to do it more often. He is so damn good at directing stuff, and he needs to do it more often. Like, what is this, man? Why am I been robbed of a really great Danny DeVito directing career? He's done a few things, but just not like that. Whiplash. This is an amazing movie. Steelbook's so beat up because I watch it constantly, this movie. because this is my favorite movie to go, hey, someone goes, hey, what's a really cool movie? You want to see a really cool movie you never seen? Let's check out Whiplash. And we watched that movie, and I've never, ever met a person who didn't love Whiplash. And if you do, I don't know if I can ever be friends with you, because Whiplash is a fantastic movie. So, The Social Network. I love this image. I think this is a great image for the Steelbook. And, yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a long time, so I can't really say too much about it right now. I am working on a David Fincher series of reviews. Just watched 7 yesterday. It's going to be the first one in that review series. Some people want to do Alien 3. Some people want to do 7. I'm going to do, 7, because it's just what makes sense. But yeah, I'm working on that right now, so stay tuned for that review series if you like my videos and stuff. But that'll be on my main channel at some point. Here, I have these organized weird, and I'm trying to fix them right now. I don't know why my Steelbook's all messed up like this, but here, I'm fixing it right now. I didn't want to do it on camera, but I'm like, I can't pull these out unless I fix it, because it was weird. And my OCD is going to bog me all day long. Okay. Perfect. Everything's fixed now. I can put my OCD to rest. 2122 Jump Street. I really like this Steelbook because, they could have easily just stacked the disc like most 4K Steelbooks, but they actually just put one movie on 4K, put a flipper here, second disc on 4K, and they did the same for the Blu-ray. So, very cool. I wish more Steelbooks would do this. I don't know why you spend like $50 on a Steelbook, and if it's a multiple disc set, they can't be bothered to put a fucking flipper in there. It just doesn't make sense to me. But hey, I love these comedy movies. Apparently, they are working on a third one. We'll see if that comes to fruition. And even if it does, I mean, I can really not think of a late comedy sequel that's ever been good. So, it's weird, I get excited for things when they come out, but then I just remember that, and then I'm like, oh, that's right. And then I see the movie, and I'm like, yeah, I should have never been excited in the first place. Because really, we as movie fans need to stop trusting the delayed comedy sequel. I think the only one that kind of did it was Beetlejuice, but Beetlejuice doesn't really count because it's not just a comedy. It's kind of a whole amalgamation of things. Anyways, we don't need to get into that. We're not talking about that anymore. Let's just do this top. Anaconda, the original Anaconda, not the garbage movie that just came out. I don't want to talk about that. But Anaconda is a pretty good movie. This is a movie that I bought like multiple times because I remember there was a standard edition of this movie that was like $5. Picked that up, and then I saw a nice steelbook of that movie, and I was like, oh, I'll pick that up. And then they did the 4K steelbook, so Anaconda's not a great movie, but it's one of those movies you just gotta have because it's just so much fun. Like, you can kind of just watch it anytime. It is kind of a classic, I guess, in and of itself, even though it's not a classic. So, Insidious. Yeah, this is the first one on 4K Steelbook. This is a great Steelbook. Very creepy image. Love this Steelbook. And then, for whatever reason, they never went back and did the other ones. Probably because they know they don't have the legacy or something. I don't know. But the 4-movie set. There is a 5th one. I don't know if I ever want to grab that. I really don't. I hated the 5th one. The new one looks pretty good, but I'm still like, man, you burnt me so bad on that 5th one. I just don't know. I have a mystery movie ticket to Regal next week, and I'm assuming that's the Insidious. So hopefully that's what it is. But either way, I'll see the movie. But I just don't have faith anymore in this franchise. Once you're like 2 for 2 down, I'm like, I don't think there's, I don't think there's crawling back when it comes to horror. I think once you get to the point where you got 2 sequels that suck, I stop caring a little bit. Panic Room. This is a great David Fincher movie. What sucks is, this is why I hate that the Sony slipcover thing is the way it is, because hey, there's a great looking steelbook of a movie that, this is the first time on 4K. There is no Blu-ray. Sony put this out of print, and now you can't get it. And so you're not getting the steelbook anymore. But what does that mean? Well, that means that there's no way to buy this movie. And I feel like that's the problem with these steelbook only releases. They can only print so many of them. And if they start printing more, they're not collectible anymore, and it's a whole conversation. So I can't stand it. Here's Drive. Great movie here. I love this movie. I actually saw Her Private Hell like a couple weeks ago, which was like kind of it's from the same director. That movie sucked. But if you want to see a great movie from that director with Ryan Gosling, so I noticed Ryan Gosling's kind of seeing a resurgence right now in popularity because of like Project Hail Mary, which is great. But I like it because there's a lot of people going back now and they're going, hey, what are some other great Ryan Gosling movies I didn't watch? So you're seeing Drive pop back up again. You're seeing Place Beyond the Pines pop up again. A couple other movies. And people are really talking about Ryan Gosling again, which is great because this man has been hell of underrated for a long time. And it's weird to say underrated because he is a great actor and he's been in tons of popular movies. But he's also been a lot of flops. He's also, kind of seen as a joke, but if you really pay attention, he's amazing. So, The Raid Redemption. This is a great movie. By the way, can we get the other Raid movies on 4K? Why is it just the first one? This is another thing I can't stand about the Sony 4K situation. But it's a great action movie, so it's good to have it. That's one of those, when that came out, I bought that day one because I was just so tired of people telling me, you gotta watch The Raid. You gotta watch The Raid. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. And then I was like, oh, I see why you gotta watch The Raid. But I also didn't love it as much as some people. Maybe that's just because how much I was told that. Here's a cool one. Heavy Metal on 4K Steelbook. I love this movie. I should have rewatched this. Actually, I rewatch this maybe tomorrow. I'm watching another movie today, but I'll maybe watch that tomorrow. But you got the 4K, the Blu-ray of the second one in here. So it's kind of a cool thing because you get the Blu-ray of the original and the 4K together. And then you get the sequel that's just on Blu-ray. Probably because it wouldn't benefit from a 4K upgrade. So that's really neat. Alright, let's go through these slipcover editions here. Here's a stand-up special, Richard Pryor on Sunset Strip. They put out another one of these on 4K. I don't know why Sony puts these out on 4K. I'm like, cool. This went down to like $10 or something like that on an Amazon sale, and I grabbed it, and so that's why I have it. I should get the other one, but, it was one of those things that, like, I thought about pre-ordering it, and then I was like, well, I found that one really cheap. Why wouldn't the other one get cheap? So hopefully it does, so I can put them together. Because it's not like something I'm going to watch a lot, but it's Richard Pryor, man. You love Richard Pryor. Adaptation. This is an amazing Nicolas Cage movie. I forget the name of the director of this movie. Spike Jonze. He has another movie like this. And they're both like excellent, very real movies. Great slipcover to this movie. Because here's the original artwork. And then there's the slipcover. I mean, it's just beautiful stuff. Sony does such a good job with some of their stuff. And it just makes you wish that they just had more standard editions. Godzilla 98. I don't know. I love Godzilla. And I love Godzilla 98. I don't think it's a classic or even good. But you know what? This is a movie that I like and I watch from time to time. So, hate on me all you want. I don't remember. I think that might have been one of the first Godzilla movies I ever saw. So, because it really is like, when you're younger, I feel like that is one that would just play on TV a lot. Especially like growing up in the early 2000s, it being the only American one for a long time. Bullet Train. I got the Walmart. This is a steel slipcover. Man, I remember getting this edition. Look how nice they are. though. This movie's amazing. I love this movie. Was the movie that made me fall in love with Brad Pitt. I kind of always been in love with him, you know, because of like Fight Club and stuff. But this is the one where I was like, oh, this Brad Pitt guy. I want to see him more in his older age. I want to see him more movies like this, and he's fantastic. I do think that Brad Pitt's a shit person, but he is good if you cast him in the right stuff, and he's a good actor. So, uh, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the original. Pretty good slasher movie, right? It's kind of a classic in the genre. Second one, not as good, but it's still a fun enough movie. I had the third one. I bought it because it was cheap and I was going to review it on the channel when the remake came out. And then I realized I don't need that. Especially since I didn't like the remake and I was never going to buy that. Sometimes I buy movies to complete sets or make videos, and then I just realized, you know what, I don't need those. And that was kind of the case with that. So I just have the first two because those are the only ones of any value. I mean, honestly, you could do without the second one, but I like the second one enough that I want out. American movie. This is a pretty good movie. I think this is another one that it was on like sale for like $10 on Amazon. These Sony slipcovers, sometimes they go on weird sales and I grab them. Pretty good like documentary movie, kind of not documentary kind of thing. I don't know, it's a weird movie, but it's pretty good. So, and then you got Talk of the Town. I'm trying to remember the title of this movie because this is a older movie I'm not too familiar with. This is another one that just kind of went on sale and I picked up, but it's a pretty good movie. Yeah, it says it was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. So, you know, it's kind of a, you know, historically significant movie, but, you know, not one I'm like the most crazy about or anything. Anyways, Ghostbusters, the original. Yeah, I love Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2, which I think when I rewatched, whenever the last Ghostbusters movies came out, I kind of realized, hey, Ghostbusters 2 is not the greatest movie, like kind of everybody says, but it's still better than we give it credit for. It's a fun movie. And I realized, for years of my life, I had never seen anything from Ghostbusters 1. Everything I've ever seen from Ghostbusters, at least the originals, had been Ghostbusters 2. And I had weird memories of Ghostbusters 2 where my I think it was my grandpa, he'd put it on the TV when we're at family gatherings, and Winston would get sucked into like gooey sewage. And you're thinking, oh, he died. Like, I thought he died, and then I just never realized he lived in the second one. He just fell into the sewer. But I thought he died for some reason. And, yeah. It was a weird memory realizing, oh, Winston didn't die. Which kind of would have been fucked up. The only black guy dies, right? But okay. Ghostbusters, the 2016 one. Kind of just have this for completion's sake, but also because there's parts of this movie I enjoy. I understand if you don't like this movie. I understand if you think it's flawed. I kind of agree. But you cannot deny that there's a couple decent moments in here, and clearly everybody who made it did not set out to make a bad movie. I don't think that was their goal. Did it come out as a bad movie? Sure. But I think people are way too harsh on this movie because it's just a mediocre, boring comedy. And I think it hurts because people wanted a Ghostbusters 3 for so long that when we finally got that, it just was like, oof. Afterlife is not my favorite Ghostbusters movie. I understand why people like this one, but for me, it is too nostalgia pandering without doing anything new or interesting, and that's just not for me. And then you get Frozen Empire, where it kind of seemed like from the trailers, hey, we're gonna do something new and interesting, and actually instead it did kind of nothing and everything all at once. Like, I don't really remember anything from this movie except there was a lot of subplots and I don't remember what any of them were, and I don't remember any of them having enough time in the movie. That is that movie's wild. So there were parts of that movie I liked, but man, I can see why that movie flopped, because yikes, not the best Ghostbusters movie. All right, now we're gonna get into the standard editions. No more Steelbook. This one hurts. 20 years later, this one pisses me the fuck off, because when Sony put this out, they put out a standard slipcovered version and a steelbook. For the second one, they just put out a steelbook. And they've been doing this for some of their new releases. It's like, sorry, steelbook only. This pisses me off to no end, because their 4K steelbooks come out like $40 to $50 for a brand new movie. It's important to do a slipcover version, so that way it will go on sale and you can get it on sales and things. But if they just put out a steelbook, you're always worried, is it going to go on a print? What's going to happen? I still need to buy that, but I'm not paying the $50 to do it. It's fucking crazy. I have the steelbook pre-ordered of the original movie that they're putting out, and I'm fine with paying that, because that's an older movie. I love it, and it is, they're actually putting some actual work in that. But when it's a new movie, I can't understand that. It pisses me off, and this is why I don't own a ton of Sony titles anymore. I to be honest, you see this collection, this was over like a few years, and it's dried up that well. Like, I haven't really bought any Sony 4K titles in a long time. This is over years of collecting, so keep that in mind. I think the most recent one I bought was that 20 years later, and maybe something else. Oh, it was the Resident Evil. I'll show you that in a minute, but yeah. You got, what is this? I'm tired. Close Encounters. Love this movie. Great Steven Spielberg movie, obviously. I don't feel like I need to say too much about this movie. I did actually go see this movie in the theater. I have an older movie theater. It's about a 100-year-old movie theater, and they do the like cults and classics, where they show 2 movies each month on a Monday. They're like $5. You go, and they're just a great experience. Very community driven, right? And they have a bunch of them. They do from like September to May. And one of the ones they did was Close Encounters. Of course, I love this movie. I think I also had seen it in the theater before that. Couldn't remember. Or no, I'm thinking about E.T. Never mind. Here's the next one here. We got Equalizer and Equalizer 2. Pretty good movies. I mean, they're not great or anything, but I like them. Denzel, right? I want to get the third one, but I don't know. I didn't buy it when it came out, and it's not gone on sale, and that's odd to me. So, and then there's so much talk about Denzel doing a third one that I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'll get it when the third one comes out. But then it's like half of that talk's not real, because he's talking about retiring. But the other talk is like, well, he's not retiring, but maybe he is. I'm like, fool, I can't even. I don't know what's going on with Denzel. I think he is retiring, because he's kind of done with it, but, we'll see. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to show you this Resident Evil box set. I'm going to put this back now. That's the only box set I have from Sony, set for one more over here, and then we'll get back to the slipcovers. I just don't want to, have to reach for them later. There you go. The Karate Kid Trilogy set, which I know they did a larger set recently, but to be honest with you, it was $200, and that was just not happening. I know it's probably the only way that I'll get to own the next Karate Kid or a few of the other Karate Kid movies, but they chose to do it that way. And again, fuck Sony for some of their decision making. I'm not making stuff more accessible. And then you got The Fifth Element, which I just saw in the theater. What a wonderful experience. Bruce Willis, classic. Who doesn't love The Fifth Element? I like going to the Fathom events, because the Fathom events are kind of fun, because I'll go to the Fathom events, and when I buy the ticket, they're usually not that full. And then when I actually sit down in the theater, they will start to fill up. And there won't always be a lot of people there, but sometimes there are. And if there isn't, there's at least enough people that you're like, man, they really got a dedicated group of people here right now who love this movie. And it's always great watching movies with those people. Starship Troopers, I mean, come on, it's freaking Starship Troopers. Who doesn't love that movie? And if you don't, I don't want to talk to you. You're not my friend. Step Brothers. I watched this for the first time because I was going to get the 4K Steelbook of Talladega Nights, and then I don't know, I just didn't have the money. And I also finally watched this movie for the first time that everyone told me I was supposed to see, and then I was like, oh, it's okay. It's not for me. Really don't like Step Brothers. Angry Birds, the first one. I got this because Angry Birds 1, not Angry Birds 1, Angry Birds 2 is actually a pretty solid movie. And randomly, this was on 4K sale for like $7. I don't know why it was that cheap. Maybe because no one wanted this, but I picked it up. But I didn't want Angry Birds 2, or Angry Birds 1, because Angry Birds 1 is dog shit, and it's horrible. So I just kept avoiding picking it up, and then they're like, oh, there's a third one. And I'm like, okay. And I found it, I think, for like $10. This is a weird combo pack, by the way, because you got a 4K disc, Blu-ray. Well, there's a 3D, and then you get the Blu-ray. Why? I can't tell you, but yeah, all three Angry Birds, all two Angry Birds movies on 4K, which is a sentence I never thought I would say, but I have them, and I can watch them. And I will review them closer to December, I guess, because we're getting a third one for some fucking reason. I really can't explain why we're getting more of those movies. Like, I like the second one. First one's terrible, though, so it's kind of a miracle we even got a second one. But Jumanji. Oh, Jumanji is not one of my favorite movies, but I get it. People like it. You got Welcome to the Jungle, which is not my thing. And then Jumanji, The Next Level. I bought this off of eBay Mercari for like $6 or whatever, because I just want to get this out of the way so I can have these so I can do the videos in December for these. The third one come out, because there's another one. I'm like, God, we're getting a third one of these. But it's the it's the Canadian version, so there's like French on the front. I don't know. To be honest, the last two I just showed you of those Jumanji movies, the rock ones. As soon as I'm done making those videos, they're probably getting traded in somewhere. I do not need them. A Few Good Men. This is a classic Rob Reiner movie with Jack Nicholson and Tom Cruise. I actually am working on a review for that movie. By the way, I just saw that in the news yesterday that his son that killed them finally got indicted. What a terrible tragedy. I don't even like thinking about it, but yeah. It's hard not to think about it, though. Dark Crystal, one of my favorite movies ever. Labyrinth, another one of my favorite movies ever. Though I think Dark Crystal holds up in a lot of ways. Like, it has pieces of it that don't work. But really, when I watched Dark Crystal, I was like, wow, what an amazing movie. And then Labyrinth I rewatched, and I was like, oh, there's a lot of holes in this movie. And that doesn't change what really works about it, how much I love it. But it was like, wow, I did not realize how flawed this movie is. So rewatching it, so that's interesting. Baby Driver, great Edgar Wright movie. This is a movie that I think when it came out, everybody was buzzing about Baby Driver and how great it was. It was an Edgar Wright movie. It was making good money at the box office. And then I think over the years, you got Kevin Spacey in this movie, right? Is that Kevin Spacey? It's been lots of, yeah, it's Kevin Spacey. And you got Ansel Elgort, who both of these people are in not great light. They're both creeps, talking to minors and shit. And it's really just rude. Sorry, I didn't want to go that route, but it's just kind of sad thinking about that movie because you're like, man, we were going to get a sequel, and that movie was really good, and now nobody wants to touch the movie. I mean, I don't even hear people praising it anymore like we used to because no one wants to touch that movie anymore. It's really sad how terrible people can, corrupt a pretty good movie. But, now I'm thinking about it, though, I kind of want to rewatch it. Maybe I will. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is getting a sequel this year. I'm going to do a review. This is probably one of my favorite Tarantino movies. I mean, you know what's funny? You ever think that about it, and like people go, well, that's probably one of my favorite Tarantino movies. He only has like less than 10 movies. It's really not that hard to pick a list of your favorite Tarantino movies. I guess it's hard because all of his movies are really, really good. But really, like, honestly, if anyone told me any of his movies was one of their favorite Tarantino movies, I would not object because they're all great movies. But, my list fluctuates and changes. It goes between Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction or, whatever. So, just want to throw that out there, see what you guys all think in the comments. Zombieland 1 and 2. These are not movies that are my jam. I think these were on sale or something. I can't remember. But I grabbed these. And I just was not into them. Like, they just were not for me. And I think they're fine enough. I get why people like them, but not for me. Gattaca. This is a pretty great movie that, to be honest with you, I bought this. It was a great movie, and I don't think I've ever watched this 4K. I think I need to change that this week. Stand By Me, another great Rob Reiner movie, and yeah, I should rewatch this one too. I just haven't done it yet. I feel like with the Rob Reiner stuff, when he passed, it didn't make me want to watch his movies again. It just made me not want to watch them again because it wasn't like he had died of natural causes and, I was like, oh, I'm honoring his legacy by watching his movies. No, he had something so horrible happen to him that just made me sick to think about. And watching his movies and thinking about that was just, it wasn't that. I will go back and rewatch this probably soon, but it just, man, Rob Reiner stuff. The Natural, Robert Redford. This is a pretty good baseball movie. Not really a sports movie person, because I'm not a sports person. And if you ask me what sport I'm into, it's either like golf or like basketball. Basketball, I really got into watching the Knicks games this year because they were doing so good. And I was excited about it, and then it just kind of, I don't know. Big Fish, great, Jack Nicholson, or not Jack Nicholson, looking on the back here, and I almost look like Jack Nicholson. I'm like, that's not Jack Nicholson, it's Danny DeVito, but great, Ewan McGregor, Tim Burton movie. I love this movie. And then Looper, which is another fantastic movie. Bruce Willis, Ryan Johnson movie before, Ryan Johnson became the guy that people love to hate, not realizing, hey, he does other movies than Star Wars, guys, and he's really fucking good at it. So, and I realized I didn't pull out another box set here. We'll talk about in a minute. Air Force One. I mean, who doesn't love Air Force One? Doctor Strangelove. Glory. Who doesn't love Glory? Oh, I fixed. So I'm trying to fix some of the spacing issues here. Okay. So, Doctor Strangelove, that's great. Kubrick movie, right? Great Kubrick movie. I mean, no said. I do think I do hope. Well, I guess Criterion did. They're doing that complete Kubrick box set, which I really want to get. But man, I'm not investing my life savings into that. $500, which makes sense. It's a lot of movies, but one day, I hope. That's why I hope they do them all individually. But they didn't do that with that Wes Anderson one, and it hurts. So this is the one I forgot to mention, Bad Boys 1 and 2. Because this is a weird 4K set here, where here's the top here, you pull them out, and then they're in these weird book thing. What the hell? Oh, this is a Blu-ray disc. See how, like, you put a disc in, and you don't hear the snap? That's how you know, like, the fact that there's holders here is just worthless, because discs just pop out. I don't watch this enough to worry about it, but man, I'm sure if I did. But yeah, you got Bad Boys 1 and 2 in these weird things, and then you fold them back up sideways, and then you put them back in. It's very weird, and honestly, sitting on the shelf, I think I forget that they're sitting there. I think that's why I forgot to pull that out. But yeah, a very weird thing, and then I have the third one as well. I do not have the fourth one, because that's another one like Equalizer 3, where I just wanted to grab it, and the sale just never happened. And then they talked about doing a fifth one, which hasn't materialized, so I'm kind of like, well, give it to me, and then maybe I'll get it at some point. That's kind of why I've gotten into the thing on my Amazon wish list now, where I find the things that I'm like, hey, let me complete a set each month, and that's kind of one of the things that I've been doing, because there's a lot of things that just sit in my wish list that are part of sets, and it makes me upset that I don't have it. I think the day I get the fourth one in the mail is the day I just go and rewatch all 4 Bad Boys movies back to back. District 9, this is a great Neil Blomkamp movie. I do need to get Elysium. Hook! This is a great Steven Spielberg movie. I went through a long phase of not really caring for this movie, but then over time, I've just grown in love for this movie because it is such a wonderful movie in a lot of ways. It is very flawed, though, and that's kind of where it kind of loses me a little bit, but it is really good. And then you got Coppola's Dracula movie. Great movie. Cliffhanger, another great movie. I actually just rewatched that because they're doing the remake, which I think was supposed to come out this month, but now it seems like maybe it's not because the company who made it is having financial issues or something. I was reading something like that. I'm not really sure. And then Welcome to Raccoon City, which we don't really need to talk about. So yeah, that's kind of everything. And I guess while we're here, we'll do my Sony Blu-rays. We'll just make this my Sony collection because there's not a lot of Sony titles here that aren't. There aren't really enough Blu-rays to make their own video, so yeah. Okay, so let's get into these Sony Blu-rays, which are not really organized in any particular order, which they should be, but I don't know, they're just kind of random here. Most of it being animated stuff, because that's a lot of the stuff that they'll probably never upgrade. But there's also some other stuff in here as well. Start with the slipcover stuff, I guess. Dropping stuff. Alright, No Hard Feelings. This is a pretty fun, weird romantic movie, slash not romantic movie. Kind of anti-romance movie, I guess, in some ways. With Jennifer Lawrence and this weird kid. But it's a pretty good movie. And I like it enough. Like, it's not a classic by any means. I think people are like, well, this is the return to raunchy comedies. And I guess when it came out, I didn't even really think about how long it had been since, I guess not how long it had been since how little like raunchy comedies come out that people actually watch. But guys, as someone who goes to the movies like every single week, multiple times a week, there's lots of comedy movies out. You all just don't see them because you're all weird. I don't love to complain. Anyways, The Boys 1 and 2. Yeah, I got The Boys 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. We got The Boys Season 3. And then we got The Boys Season 4. I kind of hope that either one or two things happens. We get a single release edition of The Boys on Blu-ray. Or we get a complete series set and they do The Boys Diabolical in that box set. If you don't know what The Boys Diabolical was, that was a weird 8-episode series where they did kind of weird shorts that took place in the universe of The Boys, except maybe some were canon, maybe some weren't. It was very weird, very wacky. Some of it felt like it was meant to take place in the universe of the comics, not the universe of the show. But they were cool and unique enough, and they are part of the show to where I do want them on physical, but I don't think we ever will get that. That's just me. We got Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2. I just rewatched 1 last night. It's a pretty good movie. It doesn't hold up as much as I remember it holding up, but man, there is you can kind of see, I think that was Phil Lord and Chris Miller's first animated movie. They done stuff like Clone High, but you can kind of see how these guys had a big career for them coming up, even if that movie isn't the greatest, because there's a lot of life and imagination in that movie. Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs 2, which is pretty good. From what I remember, I think so, but I just bought that at a convention I was at, and I want to rewatch that, so that's why I bought the first one recently, so I can rewatch them. And yeah, that's what and then you got Vivo. This one's really good because it's a Netflix movie. They got a Blu-ray release physically, so, and same thing with Mitchell's versus Machines. But this one is crazy because they gave you a new mini movie for a movie that, and special features for a movie that was only available on Netflix. And they gave you unique artwork for the disc, and they gave you a little artwork thing here. So they actually put actual real effort into releasing a Netflix movie on physical. And I think because this movie got so much love. Give me 1 second. I'm letting my dog out. Come on, buddy. But yeah, that's so cool. I am so all over the idea of doing that. I find it really surprising Sony is not choosing to release K-pop Demon Hunters themselves on physical. That got licensed out to Criterion, and I've had that on pre-order for 6 months. Can we announce a fucking release date for that? I'm assuming November, because they know that's when they have the most sales. Because it is one of their sale months, and it's right next to Christmas. So I'm assuming that's when we're getting K-pop Demon Hunters, but holy shit. Don't know why they have not announced a release date for that. But we got Vivo. And let's get into these some more animated stuff, so we can kind of move on to some of the live action stuff, which honestly isn't a lot, because I don't know. Okay, we got Arthur Christmas, which is actually a pretty good Christmas movie. Not one of my favorites. I know there's a lot of people who haven't seen this movie, and I recommend it if you haven't seen it, but there's a lot of people who haven't seen this movie, but there's also a ton of people who have, and they'll tell you this is one of their favorite Christmas movies. They love it. It isn't for me. It's really good. It's really well written, but I think the character designs, like the elves, can't get past how unappealing they look. That was a weird movie because it was like Aardman's first CG animated movie for some reason, and then they never did one again. Well, I guess they did Flushed Away, but Flushed Away doesn't count because it was stop motion, but also not. So, the Pirates Band of Misfits, the pirate Aardman movie, that's pretty good. That was a movie, by the way, I remember being excited to see that in the theater. And me and my dad went, and I think this movie bombed, so there wasn't anybody there. We went, and I hated that movie. Hated it. And then I think, I kind of grew a love for pirate movies, and I want to rewatch it for some reason. And then I rewatched it. I was like, "Oh, this movie's not that bad. It's not that good either, but it's a fun enough movie that I think, is underrated for sure. But very odd movie and all that. Wasn't there another animated movie I had sitting around here that for this part? I swear I had another animated movie sitting here that I was going to talk about, and now I can't find it. I swear there was. Where's my Blu-ray of that? I don't know. I guess we'll find it eventually, but yeah. You got Monster House, which is I kind of never been into this movie, but I know so many people are, especially people who grew up in the early 2000s like me. They love this movie, and I don't know what to tell you. It's just not for me. Fraggle Rock, Back to the Rock Season 1. I have the Fraggle Rock Complete Series, which is out of print now. This is also from Sony, and this is the original series. It also includes the animated series in there. By the way, this goes for like, I think I saw a listing on eBay for like $500. So if I ever wanted to sell that, which I never do, I love Fraggle Rock, but I find that crazy that I have a Blu-ray. It's worth that much money. I will never sell it, ever. But I found that crazy that I saw that listing, and I was like, what the fuck? For Fraggle Rock? I mean, it's classic, but still. Also, Sony should just reprint it in a standard case and not a booklet case, so people can get that if they want it that badly. Because why do they go through all the money of remastering it if they're not going to keep them in print? I don't know. But yeah, this is season 1 of the Apple show. Hopefully put out more, but we'll see. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Great show. Great Christmas special there. Trying to see, did I put it somewhere that I didn't realize? I swear there's a movie missing here, but I can't think of what it is for some reason. So, I don't know. I'll have to find that later, but I'll just say what it is since I can't find it at the moment. It was Surf's Up. I had a Blu-ray Surf's Up somewhere. But for some reason, I'm not seeing it sitting on the shelf anywhere. I don't know why. Weird. Weird. We got Searching. This is a pretty good movie. Well, actually, let's do the couple animated movies I do have here left. Persepolis. This is a movie about, I think this is, I forget what country this takes place. This is a foreign animated movie, and it's a really good movie. It's got a lot to do with Iran and a lot of that stuff. Actually, fun fact, the director of that movie, Israel murdered them. This person who made an animated movie about their life experiences in a fascist regime was murdered by a fascist regime. So yeah. And then you got American Pup. This is a Ralph Bakshi movie. This is one of their back catalog Sony releases that they put out. And I'm really glad they put that out because that is a great movie that not enough people talk about. And I would love to see more talk about that. Anyways, Karate Kid, the remake one. I don't really have anything to say about that. Superbad. Where's the 4K of Superbad? I don't know, but day one if that happens. I don't know what's taking them so long on that. It's major classic. Memento. Great movie. Christopher Nolan. That's another one that I'm like, hey, that's out of print. Where's our 4K on that? Olympus Has Fallen. London Has Fallen. Angel Has Fallen. These are kind of like a weird set of movies because they're a whole like trilogy of movies, but they're all put out by different companies, each sequel. But I have them all together just so I can find them. I think I bought them because I was like, oh, they're going to do another one. And then they never did another one. So I just haven't even watched those. But they seem like movies that people told me I should watch. And I just never did. So, yeah, that's all my Sony titles. So let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe.